to my channel. This is my first upload to my channel in about a month, which I do apologize for. I had full intentions of having videos being uploaded. I had a list of videos to film for you guys, and due to some recent events, I wanted absolutely nothing to do with the internet because I was just appalled at what I was seeing. And we are going to be talking a little bit about that in this life update, but I really wanted to give you guys a life update because something inside of me has completely shifted. And I mean such a complete 180 shift. And I feel like a completely new person. And I have been on many different journeys. I've, got a really astounding health diagnosis that I have been chasing after for over a year, and just so many things. So we are going to be talking about 3 main topics today. And if any of these topics are going to upset you, if you do not have the ability to keep your mouth shut, if you have nothing nice to say, I'm just going to tell you to please exit the video now. If you are going to leave a hate comment anyway, I will block you. Freedom of speech is something that I fully support, and you are allowed freedom of speech, but what you are not in control over is the consequences of that freedom of speech. So if you are going to leave a disgusting, repulsive comment, I will block you, and I'm not ashamed to say that. But today we are going to be talking about Charlie Kirk. We're going to be talking about my newly 1-year celebration of celibacy, and we're going to be talking about faith. So those are like the 3 main topics for this video. We'll probably dip into my health issues a little bit, but that kind of ties in with the celibacy thing. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I already made a post on my community tab, and a lot of you guys have seen it, but if you haven't seen it, if you are someone who celebrated or rejoiced or praised what happened to Charlie Kirk, remove yourself from my channel immediately. I don't care if I have 2 subscribers left, remove yourself. I don't want you in my life. I don't want you associated with my channel. What happened on September 10th, figuratively and literally, shook the nation. The things that I've seen over these last 10 days, we need the rapture quickly. Yes, I had a really good ending and beginning of August and September. I had a really good birthday. I did vlog. That was actually my last upload, was me celebrating my 32nd birthday. I vlogged the whole day. I went shopping. We had some cake. So if you guys are interested, that was my last upload a month ago. Crazy. And on September 1st, I actually got to go see one of the bands that I never, ever thought I would ever be able to see live, and that was System of a Down. Me, my sister, and Luke all drove to Chicago, which, can I just say, the worst part about that whole thing was the toll roads. Was astounded at how many freaking toll roads there are from here where I am all the way to Chicago. We were on the road for like 5 hours, and most of that time was just sitting in line at toll roads. That was the absolute worst part. But once we got to Chicago, actually seeing System of a Down live, okay, me and my sister have been waiting 18 years to see them live, because I literally can picture the first time. I remember where I was exactly when I heard my first System of a Down song, and I became obsessed. And then some things happened, and they weren't going to be touring anymore, no new music. They kind of just went off and did their own separate things. And then when we heard about this kind of mini tour that they were doing, System of a Down is one of my sister's favorite bands, okay? So when we heard about this, she was like, we're going. And at first, because I'm such a homebody, I was like, I don't know if I really want to go all the way to Chicago. I don't know. I don't even like going to Detroit for concerts because that's just too far away from home for me. So going to Chicago, I was like, I don't know if I'm up for that. But then I was like, you know what? This is probably going to literally be a once in a lifetime opportunity to see System of a Down, because they're not big on touring, you know, they're just not. So I was like, okay, you know what, we'll go. And it was amazing. It was surreal. It was awesome. The only thing I didn't like is the 2 openers that they had before Avenged Sevenfold came out. My cat is sleeping and snoring on my desk right now. If you guys can hear that, that's what that is. The 2 openers that they had, I didn't really understand their choices for those openers, because I feel like when you have an opener for a concert, those openers, their main purpose is to get you hyped up for the big moment, right? And I feel like they didn't really do a good job of like hyping us up. It was kind of just like smooth and chill. You know, for System of a Down, you'd think you would want something like, you know what I mean? But yeah, that was a really good experience. I don't think I got home until so we left at 1 p.m. on the 1st, and I didn't get home until 4:30 a.m. on the 2nd. So it was a day, but it was a good day. And, you know, after the concert, everything was fine. I went back to work, and I came home from work on Wednesday, September 10th, and I was just, you know, doing my thing, getting the food ready for the animals. I was getting stuff ready for the next work day, when all of a sudden I get a news alert on my phone that Charlie Kirk had been shot at Utah Valley University. And I know a lot of people didn't really know who Charlie Kirk was. If they did know who Charlie Kirk was, he was very controversial to a lot of people. He was very outspoken for his beliefs. He had a lot of traditional American values. He was very strong in his faith. He was very much a conservative, and I myself am a conservative. I am a Republican. I supported and loved Charlie Kirk. I've been watching Charlie Kirk for probably the better part of about 4 years or so. I would watch his videos every single day, whether that be the Charlie Kirk show, whether that be his debates, which were some of my favorites. Just the fact that, and here's what blows my mind the most, is a lot of people on the left were calling Charlie Kirk a fascist. That's like their favorite word. If you ask them to define it, they can't tell you, but they love to use that word, right? Answer me this. What fascist gives a microphone, an open microphone, to discuss their disagreements, to discuss their own beliefs with somebody else who disagrees with them? How is that a fascist? They can't answer that. Charlie, he received a lot of hate and a lot of anger. But the thing about Charlie is he never responded to that hate and anger with hate and anger. He was respectful. He was kind. Even if he flat out disagreed with you, he was kind. And somebody took his voice away from him, all because they disagreed with him. When I heard that he got shot, I was devastated. And then when I found out that he had actually passed away, I literally fell to the ground crying. I could not believe it. Charlie Kirk was one of my all-time favorite people to watch. And I've never met him. I've never had conversations with him. And I've never had passing of somebody that I never met affect me this hard. And I know there's a lot of other people out there who can agree with this. And unfortunately, I saw the video of the actual shot on accident, because when I found out that he had been shot, the first thing I did was go to TikTok, okay? TikTok, personally, is the fastest way to get updates on things like that. I don't know if you guys can agree with that, but sometimes the news gets delivered quicker to TikTok than it does to the news. It's crazy. So I just started scrolling TikTok just looking for any updates I could find on his condition, what happened, and I came across the video. And I didn't know what I was in for. I didn't know what I was going to be seeing. And I saw it, and I wish to God I never did. It was the most graphic thing I've ever seen. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. Just broke me. I don't care what you believe in, what you don't believe in, what you agree with, what you disagree with. I don't care if you're left. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if you're middle. I don't care if you're evil. I don't care if you're holy. What happened to Charlie Kirk was an outrage, and it affected a lot of people. I had many nights where I couldn't sleep because I was having nightmares of that video, and I just couldn't grasp the fact that he was gone. Somebody as good as Charlie just gone. I literally couldn't accept it. I couldn't accept it. And he had an impact on a lot of people when he was here. But after he passed, his impact on people exploded. And when it happened, I literally felt something. I felt something like in the core of me just like twist and change. I have always believed, I don't talk much about religion here on my channel because I feel like religion for people is a very personal journey. And I've always believed in God. I always believed there was a heaven and a hell. But I never practiced religion. I never really dove into my faith. And I don't know the Word of God. And when Charlie Kirk died, I knew that I wanted to find my faith again. You know, people always assume that because of the way I look, I'm an atheist or an agnostic or a Satanist. No. There is a God. And it sucks that it took Charlie dying for me to want to reach back out to God and find my faith, but I do. And that's how it is for a lot of people. Sometimes it takes something really big, really earth-shattering for you to finally come back to God. And for the first time in my 32 years of life, I have ordered a Bible, and I want to read the Bible. I want to know the Word of God, and I want to do this for not only myself, but for Charlie. I found Charlie to be so intelligent, so smart, so confident in his faith and his beliefs. You know, he made a lot of sense. Like, whatever you want to say, I'm sorry. The guy made sense. I loved Charlie. Every morning when I'm getting ready for work, or I'm cleaning, or I'm doing computer work, I always had Charlie's videos on. He was like anyone else I'm subscribed to on YouTube, I don't watch my subscriptions anymore. I just watch Charlie. I just watched Charlie Kirk in Turning Point USA and the Charlie Kirk Show. I love the kind of person he was, and it's really unfortunate that there are people out there spreading lies that Charlie was racist and a fascist. Get out of here. Miss me with that shit. Or that he was a bad person, or that he hated people. Charlie didn't hate anybody. When you're someone who is that steadfast in your faith, hate does not exist. Because how can you hate somebody for their decisions when us as human beings are literally programmed to make bad decisions? That's why Jesus died for us. He died for our sins. So for people to say that Charlie hated a certain group of people is just the most outlandish thing I ever heard. He would talk to anybody. He respected everybody. He was a good person, and he was martyred, and he will always be looked at as a martyr. And if you disagree, sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way. As sad as it is that he's gone, it's also how exciting for Charlie. For him to finally meet his creator and can now spend eternity in paradise with his creator. When you're a true believer, death doesn't scare you. Because after death, there's paradise. And now Charlie is forever 31 in paradise. I still watch his videos every day. I go back and I watch old ones, and I'll be okay watching them, and then I'll remember, like, it'll click. He's gone. And the way he was taken from us, the way the world had to see that, that's terrible. That is what is horrible. I also believe that Charlie was not in his body anymore before the bullet hit him. Because a true child of God, a martyr of God, will never feel pain. Because Jesus felt that pain for us. So I believe, before the bullet made impact, I believe that Charlie's soul was already away from his body. So I know he didn't feel any pain. It's unfortunate that we had to see it. It's disgusting. And it really opened my eyes to just how evil this world is. All because you didn't like what someone said. You had to kill him and celebrate it. It's fucked up. And for the people who are celebrating it, and for the people who are finding joy that he's gone and how he was taken from this world, I want you to go look in the mirror. I want you to realize that you're not perfect and you have a lot of hate in your heart. And for those people who are going to leave comments under this video with quotes that Charlie had said, do me a really big favor and post the whole entire quote. Don't post snippets of it, because what you're doing is taking something out of context without posting the full quote. People say he asked for this. He wanted this because he supported guns in the Second Amendment. You're dumb. And you need to look yourself in the mirror and reevaluate yourself quickly, promptly, because that's evil. It's evil. I'm not afraid to admit that I am going to be exploring my faith again. I am going to read the Bible for the first time ever. I have a lot of friends and family in my life who have always wanted me to take this journey, but I don't know, something was holding me back, and then when I felt that literal, I can't even freaking describe it to you. It's like I was electrocuted almost, just something in my body just went, and I was like, oh my God, what have I been doing? And there's nothing wrong with exploring your faith. Now, I'm not going to turn my channel into a religious-based channel, because this journey with my faith is something that's personal to me, and I want to keep that between me and God. I'm hopeful. I feel different. I just feel different, and I want to be different. I want to be better. I want to live like Charlie. I mean, he meant a lot to me. I'm not even gonna lie. Charlie was one of my favorites, man. God. I'm excited to start exploring my faith again, and I hope you guys are excited for me. And I'm sure a lot of you guys who feel the same way that I do can agree on certain things. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are maybe more open to your faith as well. It's insane how last Sunday, how many people went back to church, how many people turned back to God, how many people, like myself, bought a Bible for the first time. So Charlie may have had an impact here on earth But now that he's gone, he has an even bigger impact now. That's all I'm going to say on that subject. Now we can talk about celibacy. This whole celibacy was not a religious thing. It was not, I'm going to be celibate for my faith. It didn't start that way. I am officially 1 year celibate, which is super exciting for me. And like I said, I didn't start my celibacy. Ouch! Like a screw poking through my chair and I just scraped my ankle. Ow! My celibacy journey started when I started having some health issues, some feminine health issues, and I did talk about some of these feminine health issues in a life update from about 4 months ago, but I have been dealing with this certain health issue for well over a year, and I could never get answers as to what was wrong, but it got to a point where I could no longer be sexually active with my partner. And that's what celibacy is. Celibacy is abstaining from all sex, masturbation, all that under that umbrella, completely 100% abstinent. It was just, I didn't know what was wrong. I've had so many tests done. I've had STI testing, infection testing, uroplasma testing. Everything came back negative. Which, while that was good and I was grateful for, because, God, those would have been awful, I was still bummed and confused as to what the heck was wrong with me, and it literally made me so I couldn't be sexually active at all. And I am in a relationship, as you guys know. This March of 2026 will be 7 years that I've been in my relationship. This last year, we haven't been able to be physically intimate. When I first decided that, no more segs, it wasn't my intention to keep it that way. But as time went on, I started to, I kind of got like an epiphany or an awakening almost. I started to like myself better. I started to find myself beautiful and sexy without it. I started to learn more about my body. I got a diagnosis for what was going on with me, and it turns out that I have LS, which is lichen sclerosis, and vulvodynia. I think that's how you say that. Those were my diagnoses, and that's what was wrong this whole time. And I went to the doctor, I got it confirmed, diagnosed, got meds, and my doctor, told me what I can do so I can start having relations with my partner again. And I realized I've been much happier without it, that I don't think I want that. Hi, kitty. Here's my cat. Now, I'm someone who, my body count is not very high. So it's not like I went celibate because I had an addiction to it. Like, sex is something that, it wasn't that important to me. Like, I really just didn't care if I got it or I didn't. Like, I guess you could say, and I don't want to put labels on this. I don't want to be a part of that thing. But I guess you could say I'm a little bit asexual. I don't feel desires for either sex, like sexual desires for either sex. So I think that's the definition for asexuality, but I love not having it. I feel better without it, because before I had to stop completely, every single time that I would be intimate, I would end up in the doctor's office with pain, and I didn't know why. And I was like, why would I, if I really don't want it, why would I mess with it? Does that make sense? So I just decided I was going to stick with my celibacy journey, and I love it. Now, people ask me, how is this going to affect your relationship? I really don't know. It's very hard being in a relationship with somebody who has absolutely no sex drive. being with somebody who has a very high sex drive. It makes things very complicated. Now, my partner was very supportive when I was trying to figure out what was wrong. He never gave me a hard time. He never threw a fit, you know? Now that I think I want to stay on this journey for a while, I don't know what's going to happen. That's something that we will have to talk about because I love being celibate. Now, and another question I get is this something that is going to be a forever thing? I don't think so, you know? But again, I don't know. I don't know what the future is going to hold. The only thing I know right here and now is that I'm happy being celibate. I feel healthier. I feel more beautiful. I felt gross and embarrassed when I was doing it because how embarrassing is it to be with your partner and then the next day you have to go to the doctor's office? That's not normal. And I had a really bad introduction to intimacy. I didn't really grow up with like the best examples of like how a relationship should be. I didn't really have great beginning relationships, and it really kind of scarred intimacy for me. I didn't really understand it fully, and I think I was doing it for the wrong reasons. Like I was doing it because I thought that's the only way that someone would want to be around me or have a relationship with me or have companionship with me. Like I was just doing it because I just thought that was what you were supposed to do. No. That's not how it should be. That's wrong. I want to start over. I feel lighter. I feel pure. I'm not going to say I feel virginal because I'll never be a virgin again, but I just feel lighter. I feel happier, and I just want to do things the right way. And what a perfect timing to be going back to my faith again and rediscovering the Word of God and the Bible. Really, truly understand in what I believe in instead of just saying, yeah, I believe in God. What a perfect way to like help me on that journey of celibacy in my faith. Like it all just kind of goes together. It's exciting. I love it. A lot of people, and I always wish I was like this, but there's a lot of people who love it, and I always thought there was something wrong with me because I didn't have a high sex drive. I always wanted to be one of those girls who just loved it and just wanted to be with their partner all the time, and I'm not like that. I'm just not. I don't have those feelings towards it. So I know this won't resonate with a lot of people, and I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with me. I just don't want it. I'm happier without it. So why would I do it if it doesn't make me happy? That's not a way to live. You're dead longer than you're alive. So why spend the time you have here on earth doing things that you don't want to do? Why would you do that? I don't know how it's going to affect my relationship. It has been rough on our relationship, I won't lie, because even though it was neither one of our faults why we had to stop, it's still rough on a relationship, it's rough. It would be rough on any relationship. But I've just been so awoken to this new, wow, I kind of like being celibate kind of thing. It's just something I'll have to take day by day, but I feel liberated. I don't feel ashamed about it. I have no issue telling people, hey, I'm celibate. If that topic were to ever come up, yeah, I'm celibate. I've been celibate for a year and I love it. This whole video, this whole life update feels very personal. It feels very vulnerable to talk about. And it's weird that I'm going to be uploading this because it's it's almost a little bit embarrassing to talk about this kind of stuff and to show feelings, but at the same time, why? Why be embarrassed? Why be shy? Who cares? If you believe in something and you're excited about something, share it. So while this may be a little different than some of my usual life updates, it's real. It's raw. That's what my channel has always been about, is being real and true and honest to myself and sharing what I'm feeling, sharing what's going on in my life. Every journey I'm going down, and I'm heading into my mid-30s, I'm 32, I'm now closer to 40 than I am 20. And I feel like I feel like my most amount of growth and change and metamorphosis is going to come in my 30s. And I can already start to feel these little changes happening, and I want to take full advantage of them. And I'm excited about it. I'm pumped about it. Fuck yeah. I'm still myself. I'm still going to be myself. Nothing is going to change about me personality-wise, except maybe being a little less of a bitch. But nothing's going to change about me personality-wise or sense of humor-wise or appearance-wise. Like, I'm still me. But I'm going to be a better me. So even though I may not be as consistent on this channel as I once was, because your girl's working 5 days a week, okay? Like, this is the only day that I have out of the week to do this kind of stuff. I'm still here. You know, I haven't completely lost my touch with YouTube. I'm still definitely here, even if I'm not here. And I'm still on all social medias, if you want to follow me there. I don't know why I already feel embarrassed to upload this video. See, that's the enemy working, I feel. That's the enemy saying, like, why would you share that? That's so stupid. Like, you're gonna embarrass yourself. You're crying on camera. You're sharing your real feelings on camera. Why would you post that? I can already feel that. I can already feel those feelings coming up. But you know what? Freedom of speech. I'm allowed to talk about this kind of stuff. I just hope I don't get shot for it. Rest in peace, Charlie. Prayers to Erica and their 2 young children. Prayers for everybody who was affected by this, because I know I'm not the only one who was deeply, deeply affected by this. Thank you for everybody who showed support on my Instagram post about my 1-year celibacy journey. It meant a lot. I was a little nervous to share that post, and I didn't know how people would react, but a lot of people were just as happy for me as I was, and yeah, just thank you guys for all your support. If I lose subscribers for this video, I'm glad. I'm actually excited if I lose subscribers for this video, because you know what that means? That means we're just weeding out the evil. We're weeding out the haters. I don't want that on my channel. I don't want that in my life, but especially not on my channel. And I want us to be able to support each other on our life journeys. There's a lot of you who I talk to in the comments, and you tell me about what's going on in your life. So I like being able to support each other in our journeys, whatever that may be, whether it's traveling, getting a new job, having a baby, getting married, getting a divorce, buying a house, you know, like finding your faith, not finding your faith, you know, whatever that may be. That's what I want here. That's all I've ever wanted here. Thank you for watching this video, this very vulnerable, emotional video. This is like a conversation I would have with like a family member. So this is gonna be a little for me. I love you guys, I appreciate you guys, and please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. But until then, I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.